Welcome to Rangers Ballpark in Arlington, Texas. TBS is proud to bring you all division series in the NLCS. It's game one between the Tampa Bay Rays and the Texas Rangers. Hi, everybody. I'm Don Orsillo along with Buck Martinez. Welcome to postseason baseball. It's been an incredible year for the Tampa Bay Rays. They were 9 games out to begin September, and in the end, they had a lot of theater in their 162nd game of the year.
Absolutely, Don. Their best player came up with the biggest hit in his career in the most important game of the season. Evan Longoria's second home run of the night came in at 12th inning and propelled Tampa Bay into the playoffs. Since the 11th of June, Longoria has led the majors in RBIs. He's driven in 86. He missed a lot of time early, but boy, did he get some big hits at the end of the year.
Well, for the Rays, you think about pitching and defense. For the Texas Rangers, it's all about offense, and they've got some power, too.
Boy, they sure do. There are no rest areas in this lineup. 1 through 9, there's guys in the lineup that can win a ball game with one swing of the bat. When you think about trying to get through a lineup, this is a very difficult lineup. And when you have Nelson Cruz batting 7th in your lineup, you really know you've got a powerful lineup.
Well, Joe Madden always seems to think outside the box when you're talking about the Rays. He's got Matt Moore going today, a guy that's making his second Major League start, and he's doing it in a playoff game. Truly remarkable as he gets ready for the start here in Texas. And he has just one start before, of course, as he gets ready for today's action. C.J. Wilson has never lost to the Rays, and that includes postseason action. C.J. Wilson is 5-0 with a 1.94 earned run average. He had 16 wins during the regular season. It's the Rays and Rangers in Game 1, and it's next on TBS. Rangers Ballpark in Arlington, Texas, as the Rangers fans are raring to go here. Joe Madden brings his Tampa Bay Rays team in after an incredible ending to their regular season, and Joe Madden's certainly ready to go as they put that behind them and now focused on the postseason here as it gets started this afternoon. on Washington's team, hoping that the experience of last year's postseason will help out this season. We had a chance to talk before the ball game. They feel very good about their club coming in, maybe better than they did a year ago.
I think you're right, Don. I think Washington believes that his players know what to expect in this postseason, having gone through it before. And I truly believe he thinks this team is better than the team they had a year ago that went to the World Series.
Well, the Rangers take the field today. And as they do, let's check out the Tampa Bay Rays starting lineup. Today's starting lineup is brought to you by Autotrader.com. The Rays have Sean Rodriguez leading off. That's after Desmond Jennings really has been leading off over the last couple of months. B.J. Upton has had a great year batting second. Evan Longoria, the hero the other night, as he bats third. Ben Zobrist at second base in the cleanup spot. Johnny Damon, the veteran, who's been terrific. First year with the Rays, he's the DH. Kelly Shopik with some pop in his bat. Casey Kochman, the very good defensive first baseman, had a very good year. Desmond Jennings played in left field. He bats eighth after going 0 for 24 to end the season. And Matt Joyce bats ninth. He is in right field. On the mound for the Texas Rangers in Game 1 is not Cliff Lee this year. It's C.J. Wilson.
C.J. Wilson has stepped into the aces role and handled it very well. In this ballpark, over his last 2 seasons as a starter, he's gotten 19-5. This year, you can see his record 16-7, a very good ERA in what is perceived to be a very difficult pitcher's ballpark. But once again, it proves that if you make good quality pitches, you can pitch anywhere. The opponents hit just .232 against C.J. Wilson, and over his last 10 starts, he's really been on a roll. He's looking forward to setting the tone for this postseason for Texas. Defensively behind C.J. Wilson, Craig Gentry in left field. Josh Hamilton moves to center field. Hamilton only made 30 starts during the regular season in center field. Andrews and Kinsler up the middle. Gold Glovers at the corners, Beltre and Michael Young. Mike Napoli has had a great year defensively behind the plate. He'll team up with C.J. Wilson.
Sean Rodriguez should be leading it off here for the Tampa Bay Rays. Mentioned it during the lineup portion. Desmond Jennings, for the better part of the last 3 months, been leading off for this Tampa Bay Rays team. But Joe Madden switching up a little bit to Jennings, 0 for his last 24 to end the regular season.
Sean Rodriguez only led off 6 times this summer. So Joe Madden is not afraid to shake things up even at the most important time of the season, in the postseason. Plus the fact that Rodriguez has a home run against C.J. Wilson earlier in the year.
We'll talk more about that because he's starting Matt Moore today, which is somewhat of a surprise as they go with him instead of James Shields. We'll talk about that in a bit. Here's Sean Rodriguez to get it started today in Texas. Rodriguez, 223, 8 homers, 36 runs batted in during the regular season. As Moore is just making his way down now from the pen. Umpires give him a chance to get out of fair ground. The rookie starter for the Rays just getting to the dugout now. And C.J. Wilson waiting for him to come down the line. Kind of a tardy departure for the starter.
He's not used to this. His first postseason start. He's going to sign some autographs and give away a baseball on the way home.
He had to find the bullpen first today because he's not been here before. First pitch. The ALDS is in there for strike 1 and underway. Sean Rodriguez leading it off here for the Rays. B.J. Upton and Evan Longoria in the first inning to face C.J. Wilson. On the ground towards third, Adrian Beltre at the lip of the grass to first for the out.
A lot of good defense in this ball game on both sides of the diamond. Adrian Beltre, signing as a free agent, came over here. He's a Gold Glover that's really tightened up the infield defense here in Texas.
Interesting that a lot of the Rangers really feel like even without Cliff Lee from a year ago, that heading into the postseason this year, they're a better ball club.
They have a deeper rotation. They've got a better lineup and more balance in their attack.
B.J. Upton fouling it to the screen. 23 home runs during the regular season, 81 runs driven in. But for B.J. Upton, some of his best baseball has come in the postseason. And the Rays are hoping for that. This 2 spot is where Joe Madden really likes him in the lineup.
Well, B.J. Upton's 0 for 14 against C.J. Wilson, and however you can get him some good pitches to hit, you're going to do it. And when you put him ahead of Evan Longoria, chances are C.J. Wilson's going to be a little more aggressive to B.J. Upton.
Swing and a miss. Most home runs in a single postseason. The first year the Rays were able to get into the postseason was 2008. Most got to the World Series, and B.J. Upton had his 7 home runs. As this straightens him up inside, 93 in the fastball from Wilson, 2-2.
C.J. Wilson's going to work mostly away, and that pitch right there was just to set up the outer half. He can sink the ball away, and he's got dramatic movement right before the ball gets into the zone.
That just misses.
His best pitch to a right-handed hitter is that backdoor cutter. Hitters have a tendency to give up on it. It looks like it's off the plate outside, and that leg break brings it over the outside corner.
The team high 34 starts, one more than his total of 33 starts last year. Second straight season that he's led the Rangers staff in starts. Upton strikes out looking, 2 down in the first. First strikeout for C.J. Wilson.
There's that ball that looks so far away, you think there's no way it can get back over the plate, and Wilson drops that breaking ball in the outside. You can see Napoli set up, and that ball starts way off the plate outside and breaks all the way into the strike zone.
That's now 7 strikeouts and 15 at bats for B.J. Upton against C.J. Wilson in his career. You see the 206 strikeouts, most ever. The Rangers left-handers. Evan Longoria gets settled in here for the Rays. Longoria to the left as Craig Gentry moves over and makes the catch. C.J. Wilson with a 1-2-3 first inning. The Rays can't score. The Rangers are coming up from Arlington. As the Rangers are coming up, let's check out their starting lineup for Game 1 of the ALDS. Today's starting lineup brought to you by Autotrader.com. Ian Kinsler at second base with Elvis Andrus at shortstop batting second. Josh Hamilton is in center field. Michael Young at first base in the cleanup spot with Adrian Beltre. Third base, Mike Napoli does the catching. Nelson Cruz in right. Yorvit Torrealba is the DH as they carry 3 catchers in the series. Craig Gentry is in left field. He bats ninth. On the mound is Matt Moore.
22-year-old Matt Moore. He didn't join the Rays until September 14th. Made his major league debut in relief in Baltimore. Those are his numbers from AA and AAA. He started out the season in AA Montgomery and was promoted to Durham. in July, and boy, has he been impressive.
Ian Kinsler leads it off here. Kinsler with some unusual numbers for leadoff guys. Got 32 home runs, 77 runs batted in. Takes the 0-1 high, and it's 1-1.
Ron Washington took a lot of heat middle of the season when everybody criticized Kinsler's batting average. He said, listen, the guy steps on home plate a lot. That's what I want leading my team. This is going to be a real challenge for Washington's ball club because they've not seen more before. And there are a lot of veteran hitters in the lineup. Veterans like information on pitchers they're facing.
Kinsler fouls it back, and it's 1-2. Good idea. You mentioned Matt Moore starting the year at Double-A Montgomery. He was 8-3 there in 18 starts with a 2.20 ERA before he moved up. But this is a guy who pitched in Major League Baseball's Futures game in Arizona in July. But here he is. The future has arrived in Game 1 of the ALDS.
He's got a terrific arm. He throws upward of 98 miles an hour. He's got a great curveball and a very good changeup. But more importantly, he's poised. He has pitched in some tough places. He's pitched at Fenway Park and Yankee Stadium already in his career.
Jammed and fouled off for Kinsler. 2-2. And Buck, it seems that they had this perhaps not in mind all along, but his progression was a very good one. Starting in Baltimore and then pitching in bigger stages on his way up.
Yeah, they did a good job with that. Joe Madden and Jim Hickey, the manager and pitching coach respectively, made his debut in Baltimore. Not many people around, and kind of a low pressure situation. Then the next time he came out, he was out of the bullpen. He came into a game in Fenway Park. A little more intensity, a little more focus. After the first inning, he really kind of struggled a bit, but then he got into the spirit of it. And then last time out at Yankee Stadium, he was great in his first start.
Kinsler after the 3-2, very defensive swing, grounding it foul over by his own dugout.
Well, another thing, excuse me, Don, another thing is going to be challenging for the Rangers. You see a young pitcher, fewest career starts, starting Game 1 of a postseason. One start for Matt Moore. Joe Black of the Brooklyn Dodgers in '52 had 2 starts under his belt.
Kinsler after the 3-2 pops it up right side. Kochman and Zobrist. It'll be Zobrist equidistant between first and second, and puts it away.
Both of these ball clubs are very good defensively. In the outfield, they've got a lot of speed, anchored by B.J. Upton in center, Desmond Jennings, Matt Joyce, left and right, respectively. Up the middle, Sean Rodriguez has done a terrific job at shortstop, filling in. He teams up with Ben Zobrist. And then at the corners, the Gold Glover, Evan Longoria, and Casey Kochman, a very good defender at first base. And Kelly Shopnick is catching Matt Moore for the first time. He did not catch him in any of the previous 3 outings for Matt Moore. He did not catch him in spring training. Moore wasn't with the Rays. This is the first time he's catching Matt Moore.
Elvis Andrus, shortstop here for the Rangers, takes strike 1. Andrus, who had a terrific last month of the season, hitting at .318, set career highs in runs, hits, doubles, RBIs, stolen bases. Although he did struggle defensively this year, he committed 25 errors, most among American League shortstops, and 9 more than his total of 16 the year before. Shadows are going to be a factor here today. This late afternoon ball game in Texas into the early evening. And that is certainly a consideration for both managers. We talked to them before the game.
Yeah, Joe Madden talked about that fact that Rangers haven't seen Matt Moore. The conditions are going to be tough for hitters, and he's got exceptional stuff.
It's on the corner, and it is 2-2. Just saw 98 there for Moore. He's got it.
Yeah, 98. I don't care if it's black and white. You have a tough time seeing it. And right now, the shadows are really a challenge because you can see how the light standards above the stadium are crossing home plate right now, and that baseball looks like a strobing effect coming to home.
Andrus down the line and left, a foul ball. Not by much. So Andrus is going to come on back with a count of 2-2. Didn't miss that chalk by very much.
Looked like a breaking ball. It was down and in, and this ball is hooking, and you can see down the line the umpire had a good look at it as it was just foul out in front of it. Brian Gorman, the veteran umpire, down the left field line.
Was working with 6 umpires today. Brian Gorman, who is a crew chief during the regular season, has that left field line, as you mentioned. 2-2 again to Andrus. Swing and a miss, and Moore has got his first strikeout. Well, with more on Matt Moore, here's Jamie Maggio.
All right, thanks, guys. Well, you might wonder how Jim Hickey would prepare a 22-year-old rookie for a big, important game like this. Well, Matt Moore told me that during their huge comeback against the Yankees on Wednesday night in the 8th inning, Jim Hickey summoned Moore from the bullpen to the dugout. And Hickey said, absorb this crowd, the intensity, the excitement, but don't spectate. He said, use this moment to visualize yourself in this scenario executing these pitches. And with that lesson imparted, Hickey said Moore back to the bullpen. And I don't know, Don Buck, you think Hickey had an inkling that Moore would be getting the start in game one?
I sure do, Jamie. I think they knew all along how they were going to utilize him because they had experience with this and David Price in 2008. I think they knew exactly what they had in a special arm, and if they could use it to their advantage. Mind you, James Shields wasn't available until tomorrow. They had used David Price this week. Ellickson was out of the question, so it got down to Wade Davis, Jeff Neiman, and Matt Moore, and they opted to go with the young left-hander.
You know, Josh Hamilton with a base hit, swinging on that first pitch, .434 hitter on the first pitch, and he is at first base with 2 down. Michael Young, terrific year at .338 for Young. 11 homers, 106 runs batted in for him. Young would finish 3rd in the American League in average. Lifts it in the air out to right center. B.J. Upton drifting back will put it away. And Matt Moore is on to the first inning. We've played one from Texas. No score between the Rays and Rangers. Series coverage on TBS is brought to you in HD by BMW, the ultimate driving machine. Matt Moore, through his first inning of postseason play, faces 4 batters, gave up a 2-out single to Josh Hamilton, but then retired Michael Young, and on 18 first inning pitches gets through it relatively easily.
I sure did, and that's a good number to get settled into your first postseason inning. C.J. Wilson had a 1-2-3 inning and a strikeout in his first inning of work.
9-pitch first inning for him as Ben Zobrist leads it off. Zobrist in the cleanup spot here for the Rays. Strike one. Playing a career high 156 games. Third straight season for Zobrist that has played at least 150 games for Tampa Bay. So versatile, a guy who played 6 different positions last year. Down 0-2.
C.J. Wilson is really a student of the other team's lineups. He went back and looked at his previous 3 starts this year and saw what he did against the Rays, and then he looked at other pitchers that are similar to his own style, and he watched what they did against the lineup as well. He will not give in to you, and he has so many weapons to use. He's got fastballs, he's got a cutter he uses backdoor to the right-handers. He'll throw a curveball if he's sensing that somebody's getting on the velocity of his other pitches. He's got a great changeup, but the biggest thing is he's got terrific sink on his fastball. That's what leads to all those ground balls.
Check swing grounder that ends up foul, but it gets him on the hand, and he'll be given first base. But more importantly, right now, Zobrist is in some pain.
Ron Porterfield, the trainer for the Rays, out with Joe Madden to make sure Zobrist doesn't need some attention. But late movement we talked about, and it's difficult to see here at this time. And you can see that caught him on the right elbow. He checked his swing. He pulled his hands back, and watch that elbow, how it extends and gets in harm's way. Right off the right elbow. That's going to take some time to get the feeling back in that thing. I tell you what, it's hard to see right now for hitters. You're looking out at the mound, and the pitcher is standing in bright sunshine. There's a stretch of shadow right in front of home plate, and that ball will disappear for a split second.
Wilson hitting 10 batters during the regular season. He hits Ben Zobrist here to begin the second. First base runner of the day for the Rays. Michael Young will hold him on as he continues to try to shake it off.
One thing the Rays will do, and Ron Washington talked about it, is they will play unorthodox baseball. They will do things against the percentages, play hit and run. They'll bunt anytime. They always have that secret weapon of that squeeze bunts. They can use the safety squeeze. They can do a lot of things to beat you.
Johnny Damon making his 8th postseason appearance with his 4th different team. He was part of 2 World Series teams, the Red Sox in 04, the Yankees in 09. He has really been terrific for the Rays this season. Of course, he and Manny Ramirez joined the Rays during the offseason and in spring training. We know what happened to Manny Ramirez. Johnny Damon has been huge for Tampa Bay this season, not only on the field, but in the clubhouse.
Especially in the clubhouse. He's a real stabilizing veteran. He has a lot of fun playing, and Damon's ability to stay on the field and contribute really means a lot to a manager, where you can just pencil his name in and know that he's going to be there. It doesn't make any difference lefties, righties. He's in there every single day.
His average did dip 40 points in the second half from the All-Star break on, down from 279 to 238. And this year primarily being used mostly as a DH. A little different for Johnny this season.
I asked Johnny what C.J. Wilson presents as a problem to a hitter. He says he's got such late movement. You can see the fastball out in front of that hitting zone, and then it just breaks down and in. You swing over the top of it. It's tough to square it up.
Check on Zobrist back to the bag. David did not enjoy the season series against the Rangers. He was 3 for 21 against Texas. One of his hits was a home run this year. And he tries to hold up. He'll check. He did, according to Greg Gibson.
Again, you can see Damon ready to swing. He says swing, swing, swing. No, right at the end. It looked like he might have gone too far. But that's the quality of that pitch from C.J. Wilson. Late movement, that sinking fastball really runs down and in on Damon.
Wilson behind 3-1. Zobrist at first. And Damon turns on this, hits it high in the air to deep right field. Nelson Cruz back at the wall. It is gone. A 2-run home run for Johnny Damon. And the Tampa Bay Rays out to the 2-0 advantage in the second inning. Damon with 16 home runs during the regular season puts the Rays on top in the first postseason game.
The Rays don't have nearly the power of the Rangers, but they take advantage of situations when you give them an opportunity. C.J. Wilson hit Ben Zobrist to start the inning, and Johnny Damon gets one middle right out over the plate. And this becomes a very small ballpark if you pitch in the middle of the plate, and that's what happened to Wilson right there.
Wilson only allowed 2 home runs to lefties during the regular season. He gives up a 2-run home run here to Johnny Damon in game 1. Kelly Shopik, one of 3 catchers on the Rays team for the postseason.
Matt Joyce is one of those lefties that hit a home run off C.J. Wilson. There's Joyce right there talking to Damon. He's batting 9th today. Matt Joyce went 1 for 2 way back in a game in May and hit a home run off C.J. Wilson, and then didn't face him in the next 2 games.
1 to Shopik. He's outside. 2-1. It's a 176 average during the regular season for Shopik, but he is powered up lately. 3 home runs the last 6 games for Kelly Shopik. Wilson falling behind again. He got behind Damon 3-1, and now behind Shopik 3-1.
Johnny Damon had that check swing, and it was ruled no swing, and he got one more pitch, and he made the most of it. And Shopik out in front. Game 2 last year, Michael Young with the check swing, no swing, and then the next pitch straight away center field. Much like what Johnny Damon did, that would lead to Joe Madden being ejected by Jim Wolf. But runs are so precious and outs are so important. When you let one get away, you never know how it's going to come back and bite you.
Liner to left, and it is dropped by Gentry. He was coming on aggressively to get that ball, but he traps it, able to keep it in front of him, and Shopik is aboard at first base.
We mentioned that Gentry's a very good center fielder. This is only his 2nd start of the season in left field. He started 1 regular season game in left, and the ball comes to you much differently in left than it does in center. There's a lot of hook and sink on this ball that's off the bat of Kelly Shopik. He's got great speed and good reactions, but there's just a lot of difference in how the ball flies to left as compared to center.
So Kelly Shopik at first base, Casey Kochman the batter, and he takes strike 1. Casey Kochman starting the year at AAA this year, and he finishes the season inning at .306 for the Rays. 10 homers, 48 runs batted in for him. Extremely good defensive first baseman. Broken bat grounder softly right side. Kinsler has no play at second, so he goes to first and retires Kochman as Shopik takes second base. Don't hit hard at all. Broken bat grounder.
T.J. Wilson ran that ball right in on the hands of Casey Kochman. Shopik moves up.
One down here in the 2nd inning with Shopik at second base, and here's Desmond Jennings. He was the heir apparent for a long time for Carl Crawford. Of course, left for Boston as a free agent in the offseason. Started the season in the minors. 275 in 89 games for Durham before he got called up. And since being called up, virtually he's played every day. 333 average in July and August. Struggled in September, hitting at just 160. Actually, compare him to the guy that he replaced in Crawford. He had a better average, 1 less homer, and 2 more stolen bases in 67 less games.
But he has trouble against C.J. Wilson. He's 0 for 9 in his at-bats against Wilson, so that's why Joe Madden has dropped him down in the order. And as you mentioned, he's cooled off here at the end of the season. But he is a very interesting young player. He's got a good eye at the plate, very disciplined at the plate, and he's got terrific speed.
C.J. Wilson, 7 of 8 first pitch strikes so far in the game. Jennings carves it foul. A 2-run home run in the inning for Johnny Damon. As Tampa Bay on top 2-0. They get Kelly Shopik in scoring position at second.
Rangers outfield throws very well. So Shopik's going to have to work to get a big secondary lead.
Jennings hits it in the air to left field, sending Gentry back all the way to the warning track to make the catch. He had to be battling the sun as he got back there, shy of the wall. And fires back into third. No advance for Shopik. 2 outs as Jennings gives it a ride to deep left, but he's out number 2.
Now you can see how well the ball carries in this ballpark. That was a fly ball to left, and it made it all the way to the warning track. Right now, C.J. Wilson's leaving too many balls over the heart of the plate. He got away with one right here to Desmond Jennings, and watch how far this ball carries all the way to the scoreboard and left. Wilson is much better at working the corners and staying down, but that high fastball almost cost him 2 more runs.
So 2 down, Kelly Shopik at second base, and Matt Joyce, the batter. He is batting 9th and has not faced a lot of lefties at all this year. In fact, he's not hit lefties at all. An 80 average against lefties. He's 2 for 25 against left-handers. Really having a tough time against him, but as you mentioned, did have success against C.J. Wilson.
Had a home run against C.J. Wilson on an 0-1 fastball, and it was a mistake that Wilson just left right over the middle of the plate. I asked Matt Joyce about that this morning, and he said, oh yeah, I remembered. It was right out over the plate, and he hit it hard. As you mentioned, he didn't have many hits against lefties.
Takes a pitch outside. His first career All-Star appearance did Matt Joyce. Hitting .290, 12 home runs. The season's first half. Joyce had a very good season series against Texas, hitting at .300 against the Texas Rangers. Pops it up, foul ground. Like Napoli coming back as far as he can, but it's into the seats.
Another reason this is such a tough pitcher's ballpark is there's very little foul territory along the baselines or behind home plate. So anything that goes up behind the catcher generally ends up behind the screen and out of play. So that forces the pitcher to make another pitch, and there's a lot of room for base hits in this ballpark.
Like Napoli really off the signs. One of the newcomers to the Rangers this year, the Adrian Beltre. He's missing inside. And Napoli has really become a very good catcher. He's not really known for his defense when he was in Anaheim with the Angels.
Yeah, he really did a good job for Ron Washington. Worked very well with the pitchers. Really has a good feel for how you change a game plan midstream. Made 57 starts behind the plate here in Texas.
Joyce hits it on the ground by the dive of Young and the Kinsler into right. Around comes Shopik. There's no throw, and the Tampa Bay Rays take a 3-0 lead. Big 2-out RBI single for Matt Joyce puts the Rays on top 3-0.
The Rays have gotten a couple of breaks early in this game. Johnny James check swing that wasn't called strike 3, and then Matt Joyce pops one up and gets just enough of this to get it past the diving Kinsler into right. And even with the catcher running from second with 2 outs, Shopik got a good break. And when they couldn't keep the ball in the infield, he scores easily. This team doesn't have an awful lot of offense, so they have to take care of every opportunity they get.
Mike Maddox, the pitching coach, out there to talk to C.J. Wilson, who has surrendered 3 runs so far here in the second inning. Matt Joyce at first base, 2 down. He's not out of it yet, as Sean Rodriguez is coming up.
Well, the one thing C.J. Wilson should remember, he's got a lot of thunder in his lineup, and they can erase a 3-run deficit with one swing of the bat.
And check on Joyce at first, who's back to the bag. Michael Young holds him on. Sean Rodriguez grounded out to third base in the first inning. He's 0 for 1.
Matt Joyce is a high percentage base stealer. He was caught just once this year. He picks his spots very well. He might be their best first to third guy.
Wilson again, and it's now 2-0. C.J. Wilson off the plate outside. Dealing with Sean Rodriguez, who came to the Rays, part of the Scott Kazmir deal with the Angels. He's a player to be named later in the deal. Deal that's worked out very well for Tampa Bay. That's a strike, 2-1.
This is a spot where they can start Matt Joyce, knowing that Wilson's going to be around the plate, hopeful of getting a ball into the gap, maybe scoring him from first.
Another check on Joyce, who's back to the bag. Amazing two-run home run by Damon in this inning, a left-handed batter. He mentioned C.J. Wilson allowed just 2 homers to left-handed batters. Prior to this season, he had not allowed a home run to a left-handed batter since June 3rd of 2008, when Shin-Soo Choo took him deep. That's a strike and a full count now. Two down in the second. Matt Joyce at first. Rodriguez stays alive.
Sean Rodriguez, a very versatile player that's really tightened up the infield defense when he's taken over at shortstop. And his real problem has been hitting against right-handed pitching. He should be an everyday player given the skills he has, but he needs to bump up his average against righties. He hit just 192 this year. He's hit 273 against the lefties.
.32 pitches so far in the inning for C.J. Wilson. Rodriguez to right. It'll send Nelson Cruz back, but he's got plenty of room as he puts it away to end the second. But a 3-spot put on the board by the Rays in the second inning. A 2-run shot for Johnny Damon. The Rays on top, 3-0. Rays are on top of the Rangers as we head to the last half of the second inning. Works out to be a 23-minute wait for Matt Moore, but he doesn't mind because he's got a 3-0 advantage. As Adrian Beltre leads it off here for the Rangers and takes strike one. A terrific first year for Beltre here in Texas. Been missing 37 games on the DL, but Ron Washington told us that was a good thing because he is fresh now. He's a guy that never wants to take a day off and was forced to due to injury this year, and in the end it could work out even better for him in the postseason.
Yeah, he injured a hamstring running the bases, and during his rehab he re-aggravated that injury, and it pushed him back to the 1st of September. But Washington had plenty of capable replacements.
Popped up, foul, ground down from third comes Longoria. Shopik is there as well, but Longoria calls him off and makes the catch. The first out here of the second inning. Get the latest insider analysis on today's hot topics, like Phil Simms on Oakland's impressive start and Atlanta's early season woes. Go behind the mic with the biggest names in sports, presented by Allstate, exclusively on SI.com. Evan Longoria taking charge there in foul ground. One down here in the second inning. And it brings up Mike Napoli. Full season for Napoli not wearing an Angels uniform. Resulted in his first career 30 home run season. And even 30 home runs during the regular season. 2 home runs in the season finale. And clinched home field advantage in the ALDS for the Rangers. Gets it on the ground off the side of the mound. He kicks to Rodriguez. Throws him out at first, 2 down.
He mentioned how difficult it is for hitters here in this ballpark this time of day. Check out the baseball from Matt Moore. There it's white, then it disappears, then it comes to the plate. Very challenging for hitters. And it gets on you quickly, and that's the last thing you need as a hitter when you're facing a guy for the first time and he throws 98 miles an hour. Plus he's got a good changeup and a pretty good curveball, so it's really challenging for this Ranger lineup right now.
How difficult is it to see the rotation and to be able to identify what's coming at you in that kind of setup?
You have no chance to see the rotation when there's that little light and that much contrast between the mound and home plate. You can't pick up the spin. You're just trying to locate the baseball. And now you're facing a guy you've never seen before.
Well, you know you've got a good team offensively when you're hitting Nelson Cruz 7th in the order.
Well, this is a veteran lineup, and veteran hitters normally like to have at-bats against pitchers. They can have a game plan. They have an idea about movement and velocity. There have been 11 rookie pitchers this year that have beaten the Texas Rangers.
Swing and a miss, makes quick work of Nelson Cruz. Second strikeout for Matt Moore. We're through 2. The Rays have a 3-0 lead. October 18th. Attention sports geeks. TBS just got a whole lot smarter. Don't miss The Big Bang Theory. All new to TBS Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday night starting October 18th. You see the shadows being cast here at Rangers ballpark in Arlington down the right field line. Just engulfed in the shadows. Bright sunshine in left and in center right now here in Texas. As B.J. Upton leads it off and takes strike one. Upton, a strikeout victim in the first inning. He went looking. Only strikeout so far here today for C.J. Wilson. Quickly ahead now, 0-2. Leads an economical inning after throwing 42 pitches through the first two. C.J. Wilson beating the Rays in Game 2 of the 2010 ALDS. 6 1/3 scoreless innings.
Now that's his bread and butter pitch right there. That's the one he wants to finish off the at bat. You can see how he's down in the zone when you look at pitch tracks. When he keeps that ball down, that's when he's most effective.
Upton down the right field line towards the corner, but it is a foul ball. Not a lot of foul ground down here when you get down there, but he found it.
Sliced that pitch up and in, and you can see it's only about 7 feet down there between that wall and the foul line. And balls can get very tricky down there. Of course, Nelson Cruz, this is his home ballpark, so he's over near that corner just in case.
Down in that area again. This one will hook foul back into the seats. During the regular season for C.J. Wilson, he was 2-0 with a 2.08 earned run average in 3 starts against Tampa Bay. A foul off to the right, and Upton fouling off a 93-mile-an-hour fastball. 1-2. Amazing that C.J. Wilson appeared in 234 games, all in relief from 2006 to 2009. And started 67 regular season games to start the last 2 years. And he strikes out B.J. Upton. The second time he's got him by way of the K. Let's check in with Matt Weiner in Atlanta. Matt. Thanks very much back here in Texas. And Buck Martinez, seeing the Red Sox really collapse at the end of the season, you had to feel like there was going to be something, some shoe to drop in Boston. And apparently today that shoe is Terry Francona.
Yeah, unfortunately, Terry had so much success there, of course, winning 2 World Series, and the team just fell down around him. You know, they had injuries to their rotation. They had guys that didn't perform well in September. And you know, it's often the case. The manager is the one that falls on the sword, and it sounds like Francona's done that too. But you know, they didn't have a lot of good things go for them this year. They got off to a terrible start, just like the Rays coming out of the chute, losing, and then they just never really got it going at the end of September when they had the lead. And I just don't think they had anybody step up in that locker room. They had a bunch of guys that were veteran players, supposed to be leaders, and nobody grabbed the hold of that team and said, you know what, we've got the lead. We're not going to give it up. That didn't happen.
And huge injuries, of course. Clay Buchholz in the rotation. Kevin Youkilis at third base. Evan Longoria back up the middle into center field. A 1-out single for Longoria. That was amazing. September the 4th, the Red Sox had a 9-game lead atop the wild card, and this is what took place the rest of the way from September 4th on. The Rays trailed Boston by 9 games. They would go 16-8, while the Red Sox went 6-18 during that stretch. And take a look at the starters ERA. That's what jumps out at me when you look at that.
Yeah, and they put together what they thought was a championship caliber starting staff. Josh Beck and John Lester did not pitch well down the stretch. Buchholz was hurt. Lackey didn't pitch well all year long in his first season, and it just didn't work out. And that's how you pitch your way into the postseason, is with your starters.
Bunt dropped down by Zobrist, and it's a very good one. All Beltre can do is pick it up. Perfectly executed down the third base line. He bunts his way on as Longoria takes second.
Ron Washington talked about the Rays doing unorthodox things, and this is the cleanup batter, bunting for a base hit with 1 out and a man at first. And there's no play for the Gold Glover Beltre, as Obrist is very good, especially as a right-handed hitter bunting against left-handers. He bunts this perfectly up the third baseline, and Beltre just has to put it in his pocket.
1 out, 2 on here for the Rays. He scored 3 times in the second, now threatening here in the third, and chance for Johnny Damon, who hit a 2-run home run as part of that second inning attack. He takes ball 1.
Another reason why this may seem unorthodox is because Damon's a left-handed hitter, batting behind Zobrist, who's a switch hitter. But Joe Maddon always is encouraging his team, get on base, let that next guy do something, even though it's lefty against lefty. Longoria will steal third.
And back in the second inning, Johnny Damon with Ben Zobrist at first base, able to homer. He hit 16 during the regular season and put Tampa Bay on top 2-0. They would add another run in the second inning. Now Damon fouls it off to the left. And it's a ball and a strike to the Rays DH. And Scott Feldman is up as the Rangers have action very early in this contest. 1 out here in the third inning, and C.J. Wilson's pitch count rising. 57 total at the moment. That's a strike, and it's 1-2.
C.J. Wilson trying to be the ace of this staff and set the tone for the postseason. Last year, of course, it was Cliff Lee when they picked up mid-season. Wilson had been that guy, and here's where he needs to just throw up another 0. Keep it a 3-run game and let his hitters hit their way back into this ball game.
For whatever reason here at the ballpark in Arlington, the Rangers have had a tough time in the postseason. That includes last year too. They're 3-9 at home in the postseason, the worst record by any franchise. Even though they had the incredible year last year, it really wasn't all that incredible here in Arlington.
I think they have better starting pitching this year with the 3 left-handers. We'll see Derek Holland tomorrow, Harrison in game 3, so I think they've got a chance to pitch better.
Swing and a miss, and C.J. Wilson needed that. He strikes out Johnny Damon, picks up his 3rd K. It's out number 2 of the 3rd inning.
We mentioned how well prepared C.J. Wilson is. Before he made this pitch, he called his catcher out and they talked about it. He said, I'm going to throw that strike the ball breaking ball. See if we can't get Damon to expand, and sure enough, he got him to chase. That's a huge strikeout.
So 2 down here in the 3rd inning. 2 on for the Rays, and Kelly Shopik the batter. He singled in the 2nd inning, 1 for 1. In the air to center field, sending Josh Hamilton straight back, still going at the wall, and is gone. Kelly Shopik with a 3-run home run. Hit 11 during the regular season, and he pops one here. Had 3 home runs in the last 6 games, and it's a 3-run shot to put Tampa Bay on top 6-0.
Joe Maddon's pushing all the right buttons. He gives Kelly Shopik the start. Shopik had not caught Matt Moore all season long, but because Shopik's been swinging a hot bat, Maddon put him in the lineup, and he's got 2 hits, including a home run. Center, and that's been a problem for Wilson Day. He's not been able to keep the ball out of the middle of the plate, and Shopik goes deep to center.
A pop up around the bag at second off the bat of Kochman, and Elvis Andrus will put it away to end the inning. But a 3-run home run for Kelly Shopik. What an attack so far for the Rays. They lead it 6-0. Major League Baseball Division Series on TBS. Join the postseason debate at MLBFancave.com and follow the action on Twitter with the hashtag postseason. Legends are born in October. Look at the Cowboys Stadium across the way. A large site that is.
Beautiful complex here in Arlington. They've got the football stadium right next door to a beautiful baseball park. And they've done a great job in this area in Arlington.
It really is a beautiful venue here in Arlington. As Ravid Torrealba leads it off here for the Rangers in the third. Torrealba, who did a good bit of catching this season for Ron Washington, is the DH for the Rangers. Chops it back to the mound. Nicely played by Moore. It's time to throw him out, and does.
Kelly Shopik, hometown guy, he grew up in Fort Worth, still lives in Fort Worth, not far from this ballpark. And he hits a home run to center. Now watch the fan jump out of the seats. He plays this perfectly, makes the catch, and then fires it right back. He didn't want a souvenir off the bat of a Rays player. He's played that ball before. Kelly Shopik 2 for 2 so far. He said he can see the Cowboys Stadium from his house in Fort Worth. It's the home game for him.
Greg Gentry batting. Spent a good bit of time in center field. I thought it was very interesting in talking to Ron Washington that all season long, for the most part, Josh Hamilton did not play in center field. We asked him why, and he said, well, he didn't want him to get hurt in any way or run down having to play center field on a daily basis. But a whole different animal here in the postseason. You're going to put him in center field here in the postseason, so Gentry's got to react going from center to left.
Yeah, and it's a challenge. And we mentioned Gentry just making his second start in left field. He had one regular season starting left, but he's a true center fielder. And the reason they don't want Hamilton in center, he just wears down, plays so hard out there, so much ground to cover, and then he crashes into the walls. They want him healthy and going to the plate every night. So with that, they put him in left field.
Well, Kerwin Danley said he went around, much to the chagrin of this Rangers big crowd, and it's down on the count 1-2. There is strike three. Matt Moore picks up his third K, and so far has stymied the Rangers. 2 down here in the third inning.
Joe Madden gave Matt Moore this start because of his great stuff and his composure, and he is pitching like a veteran. This is just his second big league start. We mentioned before he made a 5-inning start against the Yankees in New York and had 11 strikeouts in that game. And you can see this is a pretty good ratio then. This is the way he's pitched throughout his minor league career. Throws a lot of strikes.
Well, Joe Madden said this will be the only game that he will pitch in this series, which is kind of unusual. To set up a series, generally you have that first starter with a plan to bring him back in game 5 if necessary. That's not going to be the case here. James Shields, who goes in games 2 here in tomorrow, and they anticipate he would be the guy that they go with if you need to be a 5th game of this series.
Yeah, Shields pitched on Monday, Hellickson on Tuesday, and Price on Wednesday. So they didn't have any of those 3 available to start this game tonight.
So many of these Rays great starters have been first-round draft choices. He is not. He's an 8th-round draft choice.
Yeah, that's what I really like about him. The Rays have taken a lot of heat saying, oh, yeah, you always got these first-round picks because you got a bad organization. David Price was a first overall pick, and he came right up to the big leagues very quickly. But Matt Moore's a different story. There were 29 other ball clubs that had plenty of opportunities to draft Matt Moore. But the Rays right now, in my estimation, are the best organization at drafting and developing pitching.
We'll have a hard time arguing that based on the results that they have had consistently over the last few years. How much is the unknown a factor here today, Buck Martinez, for these Texas Rangers, especially first time through here today?
It's everything. They're veteran hitters, and they like to have history with a pitcher.
Second time through now, and Kinsler, first batter who faces him for the second time, has earned a walk. It is the first free pass given up by Matt Moore.
Well, the Rangers know they've got plenty of time to get back in this game, and they certainly have plenty of weapons. But right now, they've got to get base runners. Ron Washington, when we spoke about his approach for his team against a young pitcher, said we've got to make him throw strikes. We've got to force him into the strike zone, and we can't chase.
Elvis Andrus takes strike 1. Elliot Kinsler is at first base, just the second base runner of the day for for the Rangers. Josh Hamilton had singled in the first inning. Kochman holding on Kinsler at first. Andrews takes another strike, and he's quickly down 0-2.
Explosive fastball right at the top of the zone. You can see Andrews with those glasses on, just trying to get some sort of aid in this tough lighting situation.
Liner caught by Kochman. That will end the inning. He tags the bag just in case. Fourth. We head to the fourth. 6-0 Tampa Bay. .47 Pacquiao Marquez coming soon only on HBO. Top half of the fourth inning back at Rangers Ballpark in Arlington. As Desmond Jennings, Matt Joyce, and Sean Rodriguez to face C.J. Wilson. He's had to throw 61 pitches through the first 3 innings, and he's given up 6 runs. Only one time during the regular season did he give up 6 earned runs, and he's done it here in Game 1 of the ALDS. Desmond Jennings flied out to the warning track in the second inning.
Now that's where Wilson needs to be most effective. Down in the zone, he's been up and it's hurt him. Giving up a couple of home runs, and when he's down, that's when he can really rack up some quick outs and have very economical innings.
Started off very well at a 1-2-3 first inning on 9 pitches. He had to throw 33 in the second inning. Gave up 3 runs in the second, 3 runs in the third. He surrendered 2 home runs in this game.
Johnny Damon and Kelly Shopik both going deep. Damon in the second, Shopik in the third.
This one grounded foul, still 3-2 to Desmond Jennings. And it took until July 23rd for Desmond Jennings to make his debut with the Rays. 333 in July and August. And their slow September inning at 160. It's got some pop though. 10 home runs in the regular season. He shoots it foul to the screen.
They brought him up last year knowing that they were going to lose Carl Crawford, so they got him into a few games. He played 17 games at the end of the season in 2010. And then I like what they did with him out of spring training. They sent him back, and they wanted him to get off to a good start, build up his confidence, so when they called him back up, they wouldn't have to send him back to the minors. Just put him out there and left and let him do his thing.
This will bounce in for ball 4. First walk given up by C.J. Wilson.
Well, we mentioned C.J. Wilson. He can really throw up some zeros when he's down in the zone, but he's not been down here this afternoon. Johnny Damon's home run was up. Kelly Shopek's home run was up. The pitch to Matt Joyce was up. And it's just a matter of he's too high up in the zone to be effective. Mike Maddox knows that their bullpen is ready now. He just acknowledged that Scott Feldman is ready should they need him.
Matt Joyce standing in and taking ball 1. Joyce had an RBI single in the second inning. As you look at the line for C.J. Wilson, who's up to 70 pitches through 3+ innings. Joyce will foul it back. If the Rays can chase Wilson from this game, they got to feel very good about the way they've started this series, and especially if they can beat C.J. Wilson in game 1 on the road in Texas.
Yeah, and this is a tough call for Ron Washington. You've got your ace out there. He's supposed to be the guy that's going to set the trend, but he's got plenty of options in the bullpen now, especially with Alexi Ogando down there. He's got some innings. He's got some guys that can shut down the Rays and keep this game within striking distance. The question for Washington is, how far do you go with C.J. Wilson? Scott Feldman, a former starter, now working out of the pen, is loose and ready. They got Ogando down there. He's got a big arm, and he's been a starter for them this year, so they've got plenty of options.
Ron Washington said before the game that he could be the 7th inning guy. Adams has been used in the 8th, and Neftali Feliz to finish off the game for the Rangers. 1-2 is a swing and a miss. C.J. Wilson strikes out Matt Joyce. 4th strikeout for Wilson. 1 down.
As a manager, you know that C.J. Wilson can string together some shutout innings. And at this point, you're not going to bring him back any sooner. So you might as well leave him out there because he's capable of getting back down in the zone and keeping you in this ballgame. Remember, we mentioned 5 hitters in their lineup with 25 or more home runs. They can come back from this 6-0 deficit. It's just the 4th.
Another check on Jennings is back to the bag. 1 out here in the 4th inning. Well, Buck, you and I both saw this series a year ago when the Rays and Rangers met in a 5-game series. Last year's series, first in Major League postseason history in which the visiting team won every game. In fact, it's only happened once in the NBA playoffs in a series of at least 5 games, and it's never been done in the NHL, and it was done last year between these two teams. There's a fly ball out to shallow left center. Hamilton coming in from center will make the catch for the 2nd out of the 4th inning.
Ron Washington and talking about the move to put Hamilton in center. And we mentioned that Washington feels he can keep Hamilton stronger when he plays left. But he said Josh is happiest when he's in center. He's truly a center fielder that loves to range far and wide out there. And working with Gary Pettis here in Texas, he's become a much better center fielder because he's reading the ball much better off the bat.
And they're so happy that he is so healthy in this postseason. Of course, last year to begin the postseason had the rib injury. Reigning MVP out there in center field handles out number 2. There's B.J. Upton. He's 0 for 2 in the game. He struck out twice. Swing and a miss for strike 1. Looking in the 1st, swinging in the 3rd.
inside 1-1. Short lead at first for Jennings, but Wilson throws over anyway. Jim Hickey, who's done a fantastic job with the Rays pitching staff over the years. It is amazing the staffs that they put out on a yearly basis, and I think you look at this year's Rays team, the biggest difference is their bullpen. It's all different. Kinsler will flip to second for the force out. We'll talk more about that as we move along. The Tampa Bay Rays are moving along. They've got a 6-0 lead in Texas. Series coverage on TBS continues next. It's game one between the Detroit Tigers and New York Yankees. Brian Anderson, Ron Darling, and John Smoltz will have the call from the Bronx. Justin Verlander and CC Sabathia matching up in game one from New York.
Verlander led the American League in ERA with a 2.40. ERA average 24 wins and 5 losses. Surely the most dominant pitcher in the American League this season.
Josh Hamilton leading it off here in the bottom of the 4th inning for Texas. He has the only hit so far for the Rangers. First time through against Matt Moore. Hamilton drives it to right field. Back goes Joyce, still going to the warning track, won't get it. Up over his head, off the wall in a hop as Hamilton cruises into second base with a leadoff double to begin the 4th inning.
Josh Hamilton's 2 for 2. Matt Joyce, the right fielder. We talk about how difficult it is for a hitter to see. Well, it's the same for the outfielders. This ball is a fly ball to right. Joyce takes 2 steps in. He never saw it off the bat. And you can see Hamilton's reaction. He knew it was just a fly ball. But Matt Joyce took 2 steps in, and once he does that, it carries over his head off the warning track. But it's difficult to see the flight of the ball, even when you're playing in the outfield, to see where it is and when it's coming off the bat.
First base runner to second base in the game for the Texas Rangers as Michael Young stands in. He'll slice it foul off to the right. Flied out to center field in the 1st inning. That'll miss.
Second time through the order, the Rangers have just a little more information about Matt Moore than they did the first time. Remember, this is the first time they've ever seen Matt Moore. They're veteran hitters, and they can take that information from their first at-bat and make adjustments second time through the order.
The best batting average as a team in the majors as Young fouls it off down the right field line. Collectively, they hit at 283. This team is all about offense.
They have the highest batting average against left-handed pitching as well. So things really set up well for them if they're going to mount a comeback.
They were second in home runs, only behind the New York Yankees. They were third in runs. That just missed, and it evens at 2-2. Shopping tried to bring it back to the inside corner.
See Desmond Jennings, we talk about the shadows. He's got to deal with the sun. He's the left fielder looking straight into that sun. And it's a real challenging sun field right now.
Young thought about it, but he takes ball 3, and it's a full count. And the sun field in left field here in Texas. At the ballpark in Arlington. Under the eyes of Desmond Jennings. Young to center field. B.J. Upton coming in to make the grab for the first out. No advance for Josh Hamilton. Well, moments ago we had the chance to catch up with the manager of the Rays, Joe Madden, and we asked him about his starter today, Matt Moore.
Good heartbeat right now. He's nice and calm out there even from the very first pitch. He's been around the zone with everything. Really good changeup. I thought the Kinsler that could have gone the other way, but I like his composure as much as anything, and the fact that he's throwing strikes means a lot.
What made you go with Kelly Shopping behind the plate?
Well, you know, Shop really does well against left-handed pitching normally, and the fact that he's had the experience that he does with our young pitcher Matt today kind of made for a good match, we thought.
All right, Joe, thanks very much.
My pleasure. Thanks.
Buck, he talked about the poise of Matt Moore. He does not look like a 22-year-old kid making a start in the postseason.
No, he sure doesn't. Yeah, they got a great report from the minor league pitching coaches. Dick Bosman, Dewey Robinson have worked with Matt Moore in the minor leagues, and they said he's got composure. We know about his stuff. Everybody can see his stuff, but it's what's inside that has allowed him to pitch so well early in his career.
Beltre, it's a hot shot and a hop to Rodriguez. They've got Hamilton hung up. And will apply the tag for the out. And all the action right in front of him. Sean Rodriguez is able to tag out Josh Hamilton, who's caught off the bag at second for the second out.
Well, he knows a runner in scoring position trying to get back into the game, and it's a mistake by Hamilton, and he knows that he gets hung up right in no man's land, and Rodriguez plays it perfectly. I mean, he just runs right at Hamilton, makes him commit, and then tags him once he tries to get back to second.
It was a promising beginning to this inning. There's now 2 outs and a runner at first. Napoli. Who takes ball 1. Napoli grounded out to shortstop first time up. Strike 1-1 to Mike Napoli. Time requested by Kelly Shopping that time, going back and forth with Matt Moore is what they're going to throw here to Napoli. Count of 1-1 and 2 outs in the 4th inning. Swing and a miss, 1-2.
Good breaking ball right there, and you can see where all the pitches are. Pitch tracks down, 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 and then he drops that breaking ball. First of all, you see 96, 97. No, you've got to get the bat started, and then he throws that good curveball, and he gets you out in front.
Napoli had a terrific end of the year. Hit at 429 in the month of September, trying to carry it over into the postseason. Bounces in, and breaking to first base is Beltre. Still not know where it is as Shopping, so Beltre will round second base. Shopping couldn't find it. He's probably 15, 20 feet away from him and to the right.
Shotpick tried to square up on it. He was a little bit late getting down, and then once it bounces off his body, can't locate it. Matt Moore, the pitcher, helping him out, pointing to it, hollering to it. It's over to your right. Finally, when he locates it, Beltre knows he's only going to go to second.
So the wild pitch getting Beltre to second base. They're 2 down in the inning.
That's 87, but that's a changeup. And that's one thing that's pretty polished for Matt Moore. He's a kid that struck out 200 batters in each of his last 2 seasons in the minors. And that's a big number when you think they play a 5-month season. And as you mentioned, I like the fact he was an 8th-round pick, 2007. The farm system did a great job of bringing him along.
Swing and a miss, strikes out Napoli. It's the 4th strikeout for Moore. He's through 4. His Rays have a 6-0 lead. Park in Arlington as we move along here to the 5th inning. And it is Evan Longoria who leads it off and takes strike 1 from C.J. Wilson. This is the 78th pitch thrown by Wilson in his outing. As works here in the 5th inning, trailing 6-0 to these Tampa Bay Rays. Longoria fouls it off. Longoria lined out to left field in the 1st inning, singled and scored in the 3rd inning. Slaps it foul, hangs it 0-2.
Much different quality of pitch from C.J. Wilson last couple of innings. He's down where he needs to be, and that's why you can trust a veteran like Wilson. Leave him out there. Once you see that he's got himself sorted out, he's going to give you some good innings.
Of course, Evan Longoria is sending the Rays into the postseason for the 3rd time with his walk-off homer in the 12th inning on Wednesday night, just minutes after the Red Sox have been defeated by the Orioles. Chops it foul and hangs tough here at 1-2.
Longoria missed 26 games at the start of the season with an oblique strain. He played 2 games, hurt his side, missed almost a month. But boy, in the second half of the season, discount his average. He's all about run production. He drove in 99 runs with that many missed games.
Yeah, the average kind of jumped out at you, 244 for Longoria. 31 home runs and the 99 RBI, as you mentioned. It's in tight, and it's 2-2. And he heads into this postseason in a better situation than he did last year. You may remember he missed the last 10 games of the 2010 regular season with the left quad strain. There's strike 3. Longoria didn't think so as he spins out of the box. Good strikeout for C.J. Wilson. We caught up with C.J. Wilson's manager Ron Washington moments ago and asked him about C.J. Wilson, the starter in this game.
Well, you know, gave a couple of balls up that we wish he wouldn't have, but you know, he's out there battling. They just jumped on us. You know, they put a 2-run bomb on us, a 3-run bomb, and a single, and now we got an uphill battle. But we'll fight till the 9th inning roll around.
Ron, you've got so much power in your lineup. How important is it for Wilson to throw up some more zeros on the scoreboard, give your hitters a chance to get back in this game?
Well, it's very important. You know, and once they got ahead of us like that, now we got to try to see if we can get as much out of them as we possibly can. But if you keep putting up the zeros, we'll probably put an inning together, and hopefully it's enough to catch up.
All right, Ron, thanks very much.
Thank you.
And 1 down here in the 5th inning, Ben Zobrist. I thank both managers for joining us in game here, and certainly not easy for one guy to talk about being down 6-0 when the other guy is up 6-0.
Yeah, and with all the other things you're thinking about as a manager, it's really great of them to join us and give us some insight as to what's going on down in that dugout. But if you have C.J. Wilson on the mound, he's well into this game. You just keep your fingers crossed that he can put up a few more zeros and give your team a chance to get back in the game.
2-2 pitches on the outside corner for strike 3. Back-to-back Ks for C.J. Wilson. Both have been looking and appears to be getting more comfortable as this game goes along.
Yeah, it's all about location with C.J. Wilson, and now he's making the pitches that he has made all year long. That's that backdoor cutter that's such a good pitch for him. It is so difficult for the right-handed hitters to commit. It looks so far outside, and you lay off, and then it breaks and catches the outside corner.
So Wilson has 6 strikeouts. Here's Johnny Damon. He got the scoring started in the 2nd inning with a 2-run home run. Tampa Bay scoring 3 times in the 2nd, 3 times in the 3rd. Two to Damon. Wilson struck out Longoria, struck out Zobrist. And ahead now, Damon 1-2. Soft ground ball to Beltre. Charging from 3rd, throws on the run off the mark, and it pulls Young off the bag. He had to come off the bag and leap in the air, and Damon reaches. As the throw from Beltre was high.
It's like Beltre got that ball hung up in his glove just for a bit, and that cost him a high throw. You see how he kind of fumbled as he went into his glove to get it, and then throws high. Young trying to swipe Damon, but as we've seen throughout his career, Johnny Damon never takes anything for granted. Even when he squibbed that ball off the end of the bat, he was busting it down the line.
So 2 down, and the Rays have a base runner at first. Error charge to Beltre. And here comes Kelly Shopping. Joe Madden kind of playing a hunch by starting Shopping, who certainly finished strong in the regular season, and it's been a great decision. Shopping singled and scored in the 2nd, and then hit a big 3-run home run in the 3rd.
See his numbers for the regular season, very disappointing. Shopping hit 21 home runs for the Indians a couple of years ago, so he's got some pop. It's his second year in Tampa Bay. And last year he was injured early in the season on a home plate collision with Derek Jeter. And he said that's when he knew this was really a special team, because he had just joined the team. He was on the DL, but they made him feel like he was truly a part of this team, even though he wasn't playing.
Played very well defensively, throwing out 18 of 44 runners trying to steal. 41%, which is the best in the American League. Defensively, he was holding up his end of the bargain. Been acquired from Cleveland, for player to be named later. Turned out to be pitcher Mitch Talbot. That's with 2 outs and Damon at first base. Asking for time, finally getting it from Mark Carlson. Shadows are now covering Josh Hamilton in center field. As Craig Gentry still dealing with the rays of sun and left, as you see Mike Maddox on the phone to the pen. Shopping down the left field line, struck well, but it is hooking foul.
Shopping's been on everything he swung at today, and that pitch again was up. He was just out in front of it. Certainly had the distance for a home run. But watch how he's out on that front foot just a bit. And Wilson left one up in the danger zone once again. He's already given up 2 home runs here this afternoon.
2-run shot for Damon in the second. 3-run shot to the man at the plate, Kelly Shopping. Damon back to the bag as they check on him. The home runs that Shopping had during the regular season, he had 11. 7 of those coming against lefties, 4 against right-handers. Inside and a full count.
Back in the 3rd inning, Kelly Shopping goes dead center on the first pitch off C.J. Wilson, a 3-run home run with 2 outs. Back-to-back 3-run innings for the Rays. And it was supposed to be the Rangers that utilized the long ball.
That's the thing Ron Washington said before the game. You take a look at the Rays numbers offensively, and they didn't have a very good offensive year. He said, but every time he turned on the TV, they were doing something big and hitting home runs. So he wasn't really buying into what the overall numbers said during the regular season. He still views this Rays team as a powerful threat. And they certainly have been in this first game up to this point. Shopping will grounded foul, and the at-bat will continue, and pitch count rising further for C.J. Wilson.
Yeah, Tampa Bay is just one of those teams that figures out a way to get it done. And they don't have any MVP candidates this year. Joe Madden's got a great coaching staff. Dave Martinez is his bench coach. And you see where they rank 13th in average, 8th in runs per game, 6th in home runs. They've got some speed, and they will force the offense with that speed.
The Seattle Mariners in the American League had a lower batting average as a team. 100th pitch is hit high in the air to deep left field, sending Gentry back. That ball is high, deep, and gone. Another home run for Kelly Shopping. His second home run of the day. A 2-run blast this time, and Tampa Bay has got an 8-0 advantage against C.J. Wilson and the Rangers.
Oh, what a start to the postseason for Kelly Shopping. 2 home runs. He's 3 for 3. And he's driven in 5. Another pitch that's up in the zone, and C.J. Wilson knew immediately. He's pitched in this ballpark long enough to know that it's tough to keep those high fly balls in the yard.
6th career 2-home run game for Kelly Shopping. As Kochman takes a strike over the outside corner. He was quickly down 0-2.
A 2-out error by Adrian Beltre kept the inning alive, and this Tampa Bay team is opportunistic. They took advantage of Wilson hitting Zobrist in the second.
Wilson can't get it. Andrews on the run. His throw is in time to get Kochman and to end the inning. Kelly Shopik has gone deep for the second time in the game. The Rays have an 8-0 lead. The office of the commissioner of baseball may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. The accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent. One of the great places here that you can hang out if you're a youngster here at Rangers Ballpark in Arlington, out there beyond center field. Lots of things to do. Great ballpark, great venue here in the major leagues. Youngsters not having a great time so far because of the score. Rays have an 8-0 advantage as their Rangers come to bat here in the bottom of the fifth. Bottom third of the Rangers order. Nelson Cruz, David Torrealba, and Craig Gentry to bat in the inning.
Cruz had a hamstring injury that shut him down in the latter part of the season. Taking a while to get his timing down.
Down the right field line, chasing his choice, but it's into the crowd. And 2-1 to Cruz.
Boy, Matt Moore has been impressive here this afternoon, and now he's been staked to a comfortable lead. Much like his start against the Yankees, it was the same scenario that he went out there and they put up some runs early, and he just gave them 5 strong innings. He was called into the office yesterday afternoon about 6:30. Pitching coach Jim Hickey and Joe Madden called him in the office, and he had to be wondering, I wonder if I made the postseason roster. Not only did he make the postseason roster, he got the ball for game 1. You're starting. We asked Joe what the reaction was. He said, okay, that's good.
Better than the alternative. A very level-headed kid, no doubt about it. We've seen his poise here today as he strikes out Cruz to begin things in the 5th. Struck out Napoli to close the 4th. He opens the 5th by striking out Nelson Cruz for the 2nd time today.
This is a good curveball right here. Watch where this thing breaks down and in toward that back foot. And Jim Hickey likes his pitchers to be 4-pitch pitchers, but he hasn't tinkered at all with Matt Moore. Matt Moore wasn't with the ball club in spring training, so Hickey is just now getting to know him. And he's gotten scouting reports and he's had conversation with the minor league development people, but it's the first chance he's had to look at young Matt Moore.
It's amazing what Jim Hickey has done, and we started to touch on a little bit earlier. One of the changes here for this Tampa Bay Rays team, they lost some pretty good players position player wise, and Carlos Pena and Carl Crawford, guys they had depended on for a long time. But they lost virtually their entire bullpen and had to start from scratch in a lot of ways. So he had a lot of new arms to work with in the pen, and what an incredible job they did to get back to the postseason.
Last year they had two of the best late inning pitchers in the American League in Joaquin Benoit and Rafael Soriano, and they both left free agency, and they had to rebuild their entire bullpen. They had 8 pitchers turn over out that bullpen, and they've done a heck of a job. And general managers around baseball believe that you can rebuild a bullpen almost overnight. You just have to do a great job and do a lot of very good scouting. But starting pitching, you better develop your own, and that's what Tampa Bay has been great at.
Torrealba takes a pitch in the dirt. Did he go? No, says Kerwin Danley, first base umpire. Full count now to Torrealba. Torrealba, 6th team in the majors, 11 major league seasons for Torrealba. Hops it up, foul ground as Kochman and Shoppett give chase. Kochman will make the play. 2 down in the 5th inning. It's been a great outing today for Matt Moore. With more is Jamie Maggio.
Well, today is homecoming at New Mexico's Moriarty High School, but guess who won't be there? Class of 2007 alum Matt Moore. That's because obviously he's here pitching today. Like many pro athletes, Matt Moore has a list of high school accolades, including, ready for this, best smile. I told Evan Longoria this, and he agreed. In fact, Longoria said they have a picture of Jim Carrey's character in The Mask hanging in the Rays clubhouse at home, and it's meant to be a depiction of Moore. Longoria added they hope to see lots of Matt Moore smiling after today's game.
Well, so far, so good.
Yeah, it sure is, and he really fits into what they're doing here. And Joe Madden creates a great atmosphere on this ball club where everybody feels that they're a part of it. He keeps everybody involved, and everybody understands their role in the play.
It is Gentry, the number 9 man, with a pitch as he'll head down to first base with 2 down. Let's go to Atlanta and Matt Weiner. Matt. All right, Matt, thanks very much. Back here at Rangers Ballpark in Arlington with 2 outs in the 5th inning. Greg Gentry is just hit by a pitch. He's at first as Ian Kinsler takes the strike. And like you're talking about Joe Madden, the 6th-year skipper of the Rays, really turned this organization around and gets so much credit, but deserves that credit for changing the mentality of this club and getting them to believe they were winners back in 2008. They could do it, and then they did do it, and since then this team has turned around dramatically. But it seems like you come into the clubhouse, he does not want you to change your personality and kind of form to the personality of the club. He wants them to be themselves, bring their own piece of the puzzle with them into the clubhouse. And it's a loose, very loose clubhouse, and has been all year and continues to be in the postseason.
Well, that probably helped them get through the month of September because there was no panic. They knew, hey, let's go play baseball. We'll figure out what happens at the end of the season, and that's what they did. You see, they went from 61 wins his first year, and then dramatic jump from 07-08 when they played their way into the World Series. But this is a good ball club, and when you think about it, they have postseason credentials.
Rodriguez, the easy way to second for the force out that ends the 5th. We're through 5. Tampa Bay's got an 8-0 lead. Is brought to you by Liberty Mutual, and talked very different numbers on both sides for both starters.
Sure are, and when you look at the youngster Matt Moore making just his second major league start, his first postseason start, obviously 5 innings, 2 hits against a very good ball club. C.J. Wilson won 16 games this year, pitched very well in this ballpark especially. He has never lost to Tampa Bay, but today he didn't have good command. Left a few pitches up in the zone and eventually was victimized by 3 home runs.
C.J. Wilson gone after 5 innings today, and it is Scott Feldman who's into the game. 2-1 with a 3.94 earned run average during the regular season. Opponents hit at .216 against him.
Feldman is making his postseason debut. He traveled with the team last year, 2000, throughout the postseason, but was not active on any of those rosters. Former 17-game winner as a starter back in 2009.
He was the opening day starter in 2010. As you mentioned, not on the roster last year after he went 7-11. Surgery on his right knee in the offseason, sidelined for 3 months during the offseason. And did not make his debut until the end of July. So just the 11 games for Feldman. In only 2 starts during the season, both came against these Tampa Bay Rays. 2-2 pitch to Desmond Jennings. Chop towards third. Adrian Beltre's got it. Run down here in the 6th inning. There's a guy that Ron Washington has used a lot. Of course, as the long man. 4 of his 9 relief appearances were longer than 3 innings this year. This guy won 17 games in 2009.
Used to be a side armor and raised his arm a little bit and got a little bit more of a downward plane on his fastball, and that's what led to that great 17-win season.
1 down for Matt Joyce. Joyce 1 for 2 in the game, had an RBI single back in the 2nd inning and struck out swinging in the 4th.
As a manager, you just have a feel about certain matchups, and today it was Kelly Shopek and Matt Joyce getting the call. Joyce started against C.J. Wilson way back in May and hit a home run, but he's not fared well against lefty pitching. I mean, this is a guy that got off to such a great start. He was among the league leaders in hitting at .370 early in the season, made the All-Star team, and then against lefties he didn't do a thing, hit under 100. But he gets the call today against a big RBI off C.J. Wilson.
Guy who came over from the Tigers in an Edwin Jackson deal. He's had too much starting pitching a few years back, and Edwin Jackson was dealt. Joyce much better against right-handers. He hits at .292 against right-handers. Dealing with 1 now, and Scott Feldman with 1 out here in the 6th inning.
Matt Joyce is a guy that grew up in the Tampa Bay area. He went to Armwood High School, and kind of a homecoming for him. Chance to come back. Same for Casey Kochman. Both grew up in that area. Saw the Rays when they first came to town.
He'll number at the plate, stays foul, still 2-2.
When we talk about the way Joe Madden manages his club, he keeps everybody involved. And in speaking with Matt Joyce, asking about this start today, he said that's Joe. You just can never count on him. He just has feelings and things, likes matchups, and just kind of goes with hot hitters. That's why Rodriguez is leading off today.
Joe Madden named the AL Manager of the Year in 2008. Going to get a lot of votes this year as well. Swing and a miss. Joyce down on strikes for the 2nd time in the game. 2 down in the 6th inning.
Feldman's got a very good split finger pitch, and he also throws a heavy sinking fastball. They're both down in the strike zone, and this one just disappears. You can see that Joyce trying to cover that low strike, swings right over the top of it.
We'll look inside Rangers ballpark in Arlington. Some great concourses, beautiful ballpark. Rangers fans not enjoying game 1 of the ALDS so far. With 2 outs here in the 6th inning. Sean Rodriguez batting here for the Rays. He's been the leadoff hitter today for Joe Maddon. He's gone 0 for 3. To center field. Josh Hamilton in a few steps puts it away. It's a 1-2-3 6th inning. Scott Feldman out of the pen for the Rangers, but it's the Rays on top 8-0. Back in Texas with the Rays on top 8-0. Elvis Andrus leading it off here for the Rangers. More Matt Moore for Tampa Bay. Why not? As he is through the first 5 innings allowed just 2 hits to this high-powered Texas offense. Rays out hitting them 7-2 at the moment. And the only other start that Moore has made at the major league level, he went only 5 innings in his start against the Yankees. So pushes on here to inning number 6 with an 8-0 advantage. Falling behind Andrus, 3-0. There's ball 4 on a 4-pitch walk for Elvis Andrus. A very special first pitch here today before game 1, as Jamie Maggio explains.
Yes, it was a very special guest. 6-year-old Cooper Stone, son of Shannon Stone, who tragically fell to his death earlier this year. Cooper did throw out the first pitch. Nolan Ryan has kept in touch with the Stone family, and it was young Cooper's wish to come back to the ballpark. Today, in his first game back, he threw out that first pitch, and who is catching Cooper's favorite player, Josh Hamilton.
Buck is touching a moment as you will ever see here before the ball game. Bunt here for Hamilton, back to the mound as Moore throws him out for the first out as Andrus takes second.
Catcher was Nolan Ryan, the president of the Rangers is there. He has Cooper Stone sitting right next to him in the front row seat here. And the reason that Cooper and his father came to the ballpark and they bought seats in left field was because Josh Hamilton was his favorite player. And unfortunately, the accident occurred, and Hamilton has stayed in touch with the family. But Nolan Ryan has always extended an open invitation to the family if they wanted to come back out. And what a touching moment for everybody here at this ballpark. And Josh Hamilton really took a lot of time with Cooper and his mom as well.
Nolan attended the funeral and has kept in touch very closely with the Stone family. This is on the ground to third. Longoria from deep third and foul ground. Throws out Michael Young. Nice play by Evan Longoria. His second out as Elvis Andrus takes third base. Rangers have started a memorial fund. They'll be erecting a statue of Shannon and Cooper that is meant to represent all Rangers fans. And as a result of that tragic accident, they're also raising the railings 42 inches. 2 down in the 6th inning. Andrus at third base, and Adrian Beltre hits one high in the air down the left field line towards the corner. Over to make the catch is Desmond Jennings, right up against the wall and in foul ground. It'll end the bottom of the 6th inning. The Tampa Bay Rays have an 8-0 lead. Game with Chevrolet. Upload a picture of your youth player and you could win tickets to the 2011 postseason among hundreds of other MLB prizes. Be a part of the Chevy Centennial Celebration and enter for a chance to win at ChevyBaseball.com. Lots of kids here at the Rangers ballpark in Arlington, where the Tampa Bay Rays have come in and scored 8 runs in game number 1 of the ALDS. Have an 8-0 advantage as B.J. Upton leads it off and sends it to center field. Josh Hamilton headed back, will not make the catch. Up over his head and to the wall as B.J. Upton stands at second base with a leadoff double to begin things here in the 7th inning.
B.J. Upton, always a very aggressive fastball hitter, jumps on the first pitch right out over the plate and drives it on the line over the center fielder's head. Hamilton just couldn't make a play on it. Carried well over his head and bounces off the center field fence. That's the way the 7th inning starts for Tampa Bay.
So Upton at second base to begin things here in the 7th inning. His first hit of the day. And here's Evan Longoria. 1 for 3 day. Single and scored in the 3rd inning. Scott Feldman in there for his 2nd inning of relief at a 1-2-3 6th inning. As he gets a strike in there to Longoria. Tampa Bay out hitting Texas 8-2 in this game as they bat in the visiting half of the 7th inning.
They'd mentioned that the Rangers, with so many veteran hitters in their lineup, didn't have any information about Matt Moore. And this season, during the regular season, they lost to 11 rookies. And they are a veteran team that likes to know a little bit about the pitcher they're facing. And that wasn't the case this afternoon with Matt Moore. He really shut them down. Only Josh Hamilton could figure him out.
And Hamilton's got the 2 hits, a single in the 1st, a double in the 4th inning. So very few adjustments were made against Moore. 2nd time through, and now 3rd time through against Moore. He's gone the first 6 innings today, giving up just 2 hits. Amazing what he is accomplishing here. In just his 2nd major league start. And it comes in game 1 of the American League Division Series of all places.
Well, if your manager doesn't make things seem exceptional, then the players won't react in an exceptional fashion. And Joe Maddon said, hey, he's our pitcher. He's one of our guys, and why not go with him?
It's not a big deal. Even though on paper it appears to be. This one is fouled off to the right, not a play.
I think that's one thing Maddon does. He sets such a great atmosphere for this ball club. He keeps everybody relaxed. Of course, he's had all those theme trips over the course of the last couple of years. This year it was the Letterman sweaters when they took the train from Boston to New York at the end of the season. He designed a Letterman sweater circa 1950, and they all dressed up and got on the train.
Swing and a miss, and Longoria is down on strike. 2nd strikeout for Feldman since he's been in. 1 out in the 7th inning. MLB Division Series coverage on TBS continues. Next, it's game 1 between the Detroit Tigers and the New York Yankees. Brian Anderson, Ron Darling, John Smoltz will have the call from the Bronx. Justin Verlander and CC Sabathia matched up in game 1. That should be a terrific series.
The Tigers hold a 4-3 advantage over the Yankees this year, and with Verlander and Pfister, the way they finished up the season, it's going to be an interesting series. Of course, everybody knows that the Yankees, they haven't had the kind of starting pitching that they had hoped to have, but they certainly had enough offense to wrap up the East.
One out here in the 7th inning. Upton at second base and a pitch outside. A great pitching matchup in game 1 of the ALDS from the Bronx. Verlander, Cy Young very well. And he will vote as an MVP candidate, 24-5 during the regular season, and CC Sabathia 19-8. Amazing what the Yankees were able to accomplish. Those 2 pitchers 1-2 and wins in the American League. You mentioned their pitching heading into the season. They had kind of a 1-2 punch, but after that you wondered about the back end of the Yankees rotation, and they get guys like Bartolo Colon, Freddie Garcia to fill out a rotation. You wondered how could they do in the American League East. Well, they won the American League East.
Yeah, and they got an awful lot more than they ever expected from Freddie Garcia and Bartolo Colon. Of course, they got a lot less than they expected from Phil Hughes. They thought he would progress and start to deliver on some of the potential, but it sounds like Hughes is going to work out of the bullpen in the postseason.
And the Tigers, Doug Pfister picked him up at the trade deadline. What a pickup that turned out to be.
That's a terrific trade and an impactful one. And when you think about Delman Young, Doug Pfister, and Wilson Betemit all being picked up by Dave Dombrowski, he really fortified his roster middle of the season.
2-2 pitch to Zobrist is tap foul, and it hangs at 2-2. Zobrist has been on twice today. Was hit by a pitch in the 2nd, and then had a bunt single in the third inning before he struck out in the fifth. P.J. Upton led this inning off with a double to straightaway center field. He's at second with one away. Fouled off again. C.J. Wilson, the starter today for the Rangers, charged with all 8 runs. Rays have in 5 innings of work, giving up 7 hits, walked a batter and struck out 6. But on the hook here in game 1 of the ALDS.
Well, the one thing we should remember, the visiting teams won every game last year as Feldman gets the strikeout.
Okay for Feldman as Zobrist strikes out for the second time in the game, 2 away in the 7th.
When these two teams met last year in the ALDS, Texas won the first 2 games at Tropicana Field, and everybody said, wow, this is going to be a short series. And then Tampa Bay came into this ballpark. Joe Maddon's team won games 3 and 4.
Johnny Damon to short left. Gentry got a bad break, but he comes on now and makes the catch. And a good adjustment with good speed. 7th inning stretch from Texas. It's been all Rays, 8-0 Tampa Bay. The game brought to you by State Farm. Big game for Kelly Shopping in there as the catcher hits a 3-run blast in the 3rd inning. He will follow it up in the 5th with a 2-run home run. All of that off C.J. Wilson, what has been an 8-run attack so far for Tampa Bay on top 8-0 in their rookie starter. His second major league start has been incredible. 6 shutout innings against his high-powered offense for the Rangers. 5 strikeouts along the way, and the Rangers have mustered just 2 hits. But what a day for Kelly Shopping. Joe Maddon had a hunch, goes with him here today, and it's worked out great.
Yeah, Kelly Shopping was pretty excited about getting this opportunity, and he didn't have a chance to catch Matt Moore. This is literally the first time he's caught him. He didn't catch him in any bullpens. He didn't catch him in the bullpen warming up. He went down today, caught the entire warm-up, and that's the first chance he had to catch him. And boy, they have clicked.
Terrific line for Moore today so far. 81 pitches deep into his outing as he gets ready here for the last half of the 7th inning. Dealing with 6, 7, and 8 for the Texas Rangers. Mike Napoli, Nelson Cruz, and Yorvit Torrealba. Moore has enjoyed great poise here today, and it's incredible. Matt Moore has pitched in only 3 regular season games if you mix in his relief appearances. 2 other pitchers have appeared in the postseason after pitching in 3 or fewer regular season games. Ken Brett pitched twice for the Red Sox 1967 World Series after only 1 regular season game, and Charlie Lebrand pitched in 1 game for the Reds in 1979's NLCS with 3 regular season games under his belt. Mike Napoli takes strike 1. Napoli 0 for 2. He's grounded out to shortstop and struck out swinging. Late on the 94-mile-an-hour fastball, and it's 0-2.
Moore's got such an easy delivery, and you can see he's the second youngest pitcher to start game 1 of a division series. The Cardinals' Rick Ankiel in 2000. Giovanni Gallardo, who will open up things for the Brewers tomorrow. He too got a start very early on in his career as a young pitcher. Matt Moore's delivery is very sound. He's balanced, he's got a nice tempo, and that's how he's able to maintain velocity late into a game.
Swing and a miss. Napoli waves at that fastball up and away. 6th strikeout for Matt Moore, and there's 1 down in the 7th inning.
Matt Moore, just an overpowering fastball that explodes up and away, and Napoli can't connect. Jim Hickey would like to add some pitches, but he says, you know what, if it ain't broke, I'm not going to try to fix it. And so far, everything they've seen from Matt Moore has been impressive.
Basically a 3-pitch pitcher, fastball, curveball, and a changeup for Matt Moore. 1 out here in the 7th inning. Another swing and a miss. Last season, as good as the Rays starters were, the ALDS, no Rays starter made it through 7 innings. Matt Moore trying to get through this 7th. He's got 1 down.
When you have a 95-mile-an-hour fastball and a smooth delivery, it really jumps on hitters. You don't see that effort. You don't see that explosion. He's very smooth, and then the ball just jumps out of his hand. And that's how he really beats these good hitters. That fastball gets on him. Then you start to get the bat head out, chasing that fastball. He drops a good changeup on you as well. We've seen all 3 pitches effective here this afternoon.
Swing and a miss on the 3-1 goes to the fastball, and it is a full count now to Nelson Cruz, who's already struck out twice. Full time swinging. On the ground this time to Sean Rodriguez at shortstop. There's 2 outs in the 7th inning.
We mentioned that Matt Moore would probably just get 1 start, and that Joe Madden indicated in our meeting this morning that Shields would start 2 if necessary. And Shields goes tomorrow. James Shields had a phenomenal season. 11 complete games.
It's a lost art that he has found again this season. He has had that mentality that he does not want to come out of any games.
Now, that's what you love as a manager, is a starter that wants to walk off the field with his team. James Shields is not into quality starts. And if you stay out there long enough as a starting pitcher, you give yourself a chance for a W. There's only one thing that a pitcher can really control, and that's the innings he throws. You can't control the wins. You can't control the loss. You can control how many innings you go out there by throwing strikes and keeping yourself into the ball game. And the Rays starters, they do a great job of pitching deep into a game.
Torrealba fouling that pitch off. Down to the count 1-2. He's grounded out and fouled out.
Hickey was very proud of his starters. We spoke to him this morning. He said, when you can put your bullpen when you want to and not when you need to, you're in good shape.
As a staff, they finished with a 3.58 earned run average, only behind the Angels in the American League. Look at the breakdown for Moore, who is up now to 95 pitches with 2 outs in the 7th inning. It's taxing the 18-pitch first inning. And 1 batter reached in that inning.
The league leaders will be right around 15 pitches per inning. The Roy Halladay's, the Mark Burleys, the guys that really pound the strike zone. And you get around 16 pitches, you're in pretty good shape. I always think of it like a boxer going 3-minute rounds where you don't want to throw too many punches in 1 inning. Just to economize, but you can see the Rays are right there with that great pitching staff in Philadelphia. Number of 7-inning starts.
Soft grounder to Sean Rodriguez, who fields and throws and retires Torrealba. 1-2-3, 7th inning for Matt Moore. An 8-0 Rays lead. Episodes of Conan and all your favorite TBS shows wherever and whenever you want. Download the free TBS app at TBS.com. It appears that Matt Moore is done as he gets congratulations from his teammates, his pitching coach, and what an incredible effort. First you get Jeremy Hellickson coming up for the Rays this year. Now they add this guy, Matt Moore, who's got an 8-0 lead and pitches 7 shutout innings against the Texas Rangers in Game 1 of the ALDS.
Started out the season in Double-A, made it up to Triple-A, and didn't join the ball club until the middle of September. And now he makes a very important start to open up the postseason for Tampa Bay.
Kelly Shopik has had a great day today. A 3-hit performance for the Rays catcher. Singled back in the second, at a 3-run home run in the third. Followed it up with a 2-run home run in the fifth. So 3 hits, 5 RBIs.
Of course, Shopping will take a lot of satisfaction from this game because of what he's done with the bat. But I can guarantee you he's going to be equally satisfied for the way he's handled 22-year-old Matt Moore. To be able to get a rookie through a game like this in a ballpark against such a powerful Rangers lineup, he's going to be very satisfied with the way he's helped out the young lefty.
Check swing grounder foul this time. As Jim Hickey on the phone down to the pen. They're ready for their first reliever of the series.
Oftentimes managers will have had a look at a young pitcher in spring training, and we asked Joe Madden, did you have him in camp? He said nope. He said, I met him once in the parking lot when I met his agent, but that's the first I'd ever met him, and I didn't meet him until we called him up. But I bet you he likes him.
He knows him now.
He knows him now.
We also asked Joe about his hair, which has become somewhat of a topic during the course of the year. Joe Madden, we talked about the theme trips they have. He also keeps it light for himself. He's not going to cut his hair all year, he said in spring training. Swing and a miss as Shopping strikes out. He did cut it once, but he said it was like half an inch and that was it. But the hair is flowing. It's terrific for Joe. And he's had it all season long. He's not going to cut it now, that's for sure.
No, he's hopeful of getting a ponytail before the postseason comes to an end. That's what he told us. Nobody takes them too seriously in that dugout. And, boy, how about David Price? He might be the biggest cheerleader on that whole team.
Casey Kochman batting, grounds it foul. That's here with 1 out in the 8th inning. Scott Feldman has done a nice job since coming in. And you talk about cheerleading. There he is. David Price giving Moore a big hug after his outing is over. Again, it's an outing that was 7 innings, 2 hits, no runs. He walked 2 and struck out 6.
I mean, these guys are going to make this a habit. They've got so many young pitchers in their rotation. They don't have a starter that's 30 years old.
Right to Kochman.
This is the Rays' 3rd postseason in the last 4 years. Only the Phillies and the Yankees have as many appearances in the postseason. They do a great job.
Joe Madden talking about the American League East, and people saying, boy, how are you going to compete with the Red Sox and the Yankees? And he said it's great because you get a measurement of where you stand during the regular season. You play those teams day in and day out. You're very much ready for the postseason, whatever the rest of the American League or even the National League is going to bring you at some point. Kochman is 0 for 3 in this game. He bats right now, but some pretty good numbers in there, especially Kelly Shopping. 3 for 4 with 2 home runs, 5 runs batted in. So the fly ball sent to center field. Josh Hamilton tracks it and makes the catch on Casey Kochman. 2 down. It's time for a game break in. Matt Weiner. Matt.
A lot of great players in that game tonight. Of course, the 2 starting pitchers, and that Tiger lineup doesn't get the respect it deserves. Miguel Cabrera and Victor Martinez have become a terrific 1-2 punch, driving in runs. They both have over 100 RBIs. And then the young catcher, Alex Avila, has had a marvelous season, taking over just about every single day behind the plate.
Miguel Cabrera winning the batting title in the American League. Pitch to Desmond Jennings, who takes the strike. 2-1.
And the Tigers They made the big impactful trade. We talked about Doug Fister. At the time, it was Ubaldo Jimenez, Doug Fister. Ubaldo Jimenez. Cleveland got Jimenez. He didn't pitch well at all. And Fister, his season just took off.
This takes off into left field for Desmond Jennings, on for the second time in the game. Walked in the fourth, now singles in the eighth. And a three-way trade that worked out for just about everybody.
The Yankees got Curtis Granderson, and he's become an MVP candidate. The D-backs got Edwin Jackson, and they have since spun him. But Ian Kennedy tied for the league in wins in the National League. Austin Jackson, the everyday center fielder in Detroit. Max Scherzer, number 3 starter. Koch and Schlereth working out of the bullpen. So everybody won in that three-way trade.
It's not often that you see that. 2 down here in the 8th inning. Desmond Jennings at first base. Matt Joyce the batter.
It took a while for Ian Kennedy to come around, but that was part of that trio of Kennedy, Jabba Chamberlain, and Phil Hughes. The Yankees kept Chamberlain and Hughes and moved Kennedy, and he's the one that's really delivered this season.
On the ground, foul, hit sharply. Kennedy ended up with 21 wins this year.
Tell you what, the Diamondbacks have a pretty good 1-2 punch top of their rotation too. Daniel Hudson and Kennedy, and then the back of the bullpen with J.J. Putz. Brandon Gomes, a rookie, and Jake McGee, also a rookie. There are rookies everywhere on this team.
There's a high fly ball sent out to deep right field off the bat of Joyce. Headed back is Cruz at the wall. Will make the catch. Back by the 377 marker. We played 7.5 in the ballpark in Arlington. It's 8-0 Tampa Bay.
September headlines for Tampa Bay. They need a miracle. They're 9 games out on the 3rd. They keep their hopes alive by sweeping the Red Sox at Tropicana Field. Then Fenway Fun. They win 3 out of 4 at Boston, only 2 games behind. Wild card race as the Sox collapse. Tampa Bay 28 down 7-0 come back against the Yankees, and tomorrow's headline without question: will be that Matt Moore got off to a great start. 7 innings of 2-hit shutout ball against the Texas Rangers, his second big league start.
David Murphy to pinch hit. And to begin things here in the bottom of the 8th inning as the Rangers trying to get something going against the Rays bullpen now takes over.
Brandon Gomes, a right-hander, another rookie. And they did a great job of bringing Gomes along. Made his debut on the 3rd of May against the Blue Jays. And they picked their spots very carefully. Let him get his feet on the ground. And he has really turned into a very valuable commodity. Made 40 appearances. Pitched 37 innings and gave up just 34 hits.
September was his busiest month. He appeared in 12 games, allowed 1 run in 8 innings. Opponents hit just 143 against him in September, so he finished the year very, very well. And the numbers for him overall in 40 games during the regular season, a 2.92 ERA, 246 opponent batting average against him. He started the season in the AAA Durham. Down the left field line and foul. Back into this big crowd, the largest crowd this season here at Rangers Ballpark in Arlington. 50,498 on hand here today for Game 1 of the American League Division Series, and they haven't had a lot to cheer about so far as the Tampa Bay Rays have an 8-0 lead.
Well, they've got a lot of confidence in Ron Washington, this ball club, and they saw what happened last year. The visiting teams in that series between these two ball clubs won every game.
Murphy with a swing and a miss. Brandon Gomes strikes him out to begin the bottom of the 8th. Today's bullpen spotlight is brought to you by Nissan Versa Sedan. Innovation, upsized innovation for all. And we talked about it earlier, the loss of the 2010 bullpen for the Rays. Guys like Rafael Soriano and Joaquin Benoit, the back end that were so important that they didn't have this year, but boy, they did great.
Well, they just can't afford to keep everybody, and Soriano went to the Yankees, got a great 3-year contract. Benoit, he went to the Tigers, he's going to pitch in the postseason. Balfour to Oakland, Choate to the Marlins, and they just couldn't afford to keep those guys. And there are an awful lot of general managers around baseball that believe it's very risky to give relievers multi-year deals.
There were a bunch handed out this offseason, and it started with Joaquin Benoit. It seemed like that kind of got the ball rolling in the offseason.
And he signed a nice deal with the Tigers and then got off to a bad start, but he turned things around right at the end of May.
And Kinsler can't hold up as he offers.
But the wear and tear on relievers makes it so unpredictable what they're going to do from one year to the next. You see hot hands come back all the time. Guys have down years and then they regroup and bounce back. But I think you got to keep the bullpen on edge. If you can put together a pen with a bunch of one-year contracts, I think you're going to really get the best out of your bullpen.
Bounced in and kicked off Shopik. 0-2 strikes to Ian Kinsler, 1 out here in the 8th inning.
And Tampa Bay can't afford to go out and pay for free agent pitching. Their salary this year, $42 million, down from $72.
Well, that's the thing. Last year when they lost to the Texas Rangers in the first round, they made it clear that they were headed in a different direction with their salaries. And you wondered at that point whether they would be back for a while. And here they are, back a year later, amazingly enough.
Yeah, if you're going to compete in the AL East, you can't outspend the Red Sox or the Yankees. You have to outdevelop them. And that's what the Rays do so well. They draft well. They have a great core of scouts, and their development people are great at developing talent like Matt Moore and promoting them to the big leagues.
Here's Exhibit A. 7 shutout innings today for Matt Moore.
We have seen organizations throughout the last several seasons, and there you see the salaries of the playoff teams. The Yankees, they can pay for their mistakes. They rolled the dice and signed Bartolo Colon to a $900,000 contract, not knowing if he could pitch or not, and it worked out.
Kinsler goes around and strikes out back-to-back Ks for Brandon Gomes, and there's 2 down in the 8th.
Gomes with that good breaking ball down and away. And boy, Don, you mentioned how well he pitched in September, but they just built his confidence throughout the course of the summer to a point where now he feels like he's primed and ready to pitch in the postseason.
2 down here in the 8th for Elvis Andrus. So for 2 with a walk so far in the game. All that was against Matt Moore. And Gomes, a guy that Joe Madden would go to for multiple innings, had 10 outings that were longer than an inning. A season high 3 innings back on July 17th against the Red Sox. This is line to third as Longoria will fire across on a hop to first for the out that ends the 8th. We played 8 from Texas. It's 8-0 Tampa Bay. Ducked out as this game has gone along. 50,498 when we started here at Rangers Ballpark in Arlington, as the Rays have an 8-0 advantage over the Texas Rangers, with Tampa Bay coming to bat in the 9th. Sean Rodriguez, the top of the order, hitting it off for Tampa Bay. Drives one out towards deep left center field. Josh Hamilton headed back almost to the track to make the catch. Deepest part of the ballpark. But B.J. Upton is coming up here next with more. Here's Jamie Maggio.
Well, it's been a special year for the Upton family. B.J. and his brother Justin, his younger brother, who plays for the Diamondbacks, made Major League history, becoming the first set of brothers to have a 2020 season in the same year. Now, B.J. and Justin have both played in the postseason, but this is the first time they're playing in the postseason at the same time. B.J. told me he does expect to speak with his brother after every game, and who knows, if both teams advance, maybe they'll be having those conversations face to face.
Well, it is truly amazing, as Justin Upton was kind of available to begin the season. At least it appeared that way believe the rumors that they're kind of shopping him around perhaps, and then goes on to have an incredible season in the National League.
Yeah, and recently he was hit by a pitch by Tim Lincecum in the helmet and had some concussion-like syndrome. They just kind of shut him down. They had the symptoms of a concussion, and then he got hit by a ball that bounced off the fence. So he's had a rough finish to his season, but he's going to be ready for that beginning of postseason tomorrow. But quite a family. Her father Manny, very athletic himself, college basketball rep. He'll probably be in Tampa Bay when the team comes home in St. Petersburg for that Game 3.
A one-out walk here for B.J. Upton, who's on for the third time in the game. 1 out, 1 on, and Evan Longoria coming up. Pitcher for Texas, Matt Harrison, coming into the game here for the Rangers to pitch the 9th inning.
Matt Harrison, one of the very good left-handed starters. They've got 3 good lefties here in C.J. Wilson, Holland, and Harrison. Harrison getting some work here. He went 14-9 in 31 games, made 30 starts for Texas. And he's got an explosive sinker as well.
He's at .500 at the All-Star break, 7-7, 7-2 after the break. His ERA was actually higher after the break, at 3.84 ERA before, 3.04 after. Just worked out for him better record-wise in the second half. Longoria fouls off another.
We mentioned that great 3-team trade between the Yankees, the Diamondbacks, and the Tigers. Matt Harrison was included in a great trade for Texas. He was part of the Mark Teixeira deal with the Atlanta Braves. Texas got Neftali Feliz, Matt Harrison, Elvis Andrus, Bo Jones, and Jared Saltalamacchia. Incredible trade for Mark Teixeira and Ron Mayhew.
Considering the length of time that Mark Teixeira ended up spending in Atlanta, really not a very good deal. And this is to left as Murphy is coming in, but it'll drop in for a base hit in front of him. As Upton takes second base on the single for Longoria, who picks up his second hit of the game.
I mentioned how well Longoria finished up the season. He had 13 home runs in his last 41 games of the regular season. And in the series against Toronto, he took a ball in the ribs off of Brandon Morrow. And he's got a big patch covering that thing, but he got a shot flush in his rib cage, and he's got quite a bruise.
This will get away from Napoli, and the runners will advance as Upton takes third and Longoria second. The Yankees and Tigers will be coming up next from New York. Game 1 from the Bronx. Verlander and Sabathia.
Well, you've got a batting champ. You've got a 41 home run hitter. The batting champ Miguel Cabrera for the Tigers. Granderson hit 41 home runs, finished second in the American League to Jose Bautista. Granderson and Cano 1-2 in RBI in the American League. It's a star-studded playoff matchup. Victor Martinez hit .330 for the Tigers. He finished 4th in the batting race.
Rangers bring the infield in with runners at second and third and 1 out. And Zobrist with a swing and a miss. Runners advance on a wild pitch. Scored by Matt Harrison. Allowed Upton to take third, Longoria to take second. So Rays try to add on to their 8-0 advantage, batting in the 9th. Chop towards third, Beltre fires across for out number 2 of the 9th. Advance for the base runners, 2 down as Ron Washington makes his way out.
Washington just with an opportunity to get Harrison some work. Not sure if he'll be able to use him as a starter in this series, but he comes in and gets 2/3 of an inning. And he is called for another left-hander. Harrison will leave.
So the pitching change from Texas, 8-0 Tampa Bay. Back here at the Rangers ballpark in Arlington, Texas, where it has been all Tampa Bay in game 1 of the ALDS from here. As the Rays have an 8-0 advantage. Mike Gonzalez checks into the game here between his stay in Baltimore and Texas during the regular season. Made 56 appearances, was 2-2, 4.39 earned run average, and opponents hitting at .250 against Gonzalez. He comes in here with 2 outs and runners at second and third, and gets strike 1 in there to Johnny Damon.
Gonzalez was a trade deadline acquisition from Baltimore on the 31st of August.
Just a couple of days last week, sent home with a virus. As there's a one hopper to short. Andrews knocks it down, stays with it. The throw is late. Run will score. In from third comes B.J. Upton. And the Rays grab their 9th run of the game on top, 9-0. Andrews couldn't pick it cleanly at shortstop on a tough hop. It's time now for the best in the game, brought to you by Audi A8. What a game for Kelly Shopping.
The Rays with multiple home run games in the postseason. Evan Longoria in his first go around back in 2018. B.J. Upton had a great division series, and Kelly Shopping gets his postseason started this year with a big game. Driven in 5 runs, a pair of home runs. He's 3 for 4. And he certainly widened the gap with that 3-run home run in the 5th.
He credited Johnny Damon with a base hit, which is his second of the game. Picks up his 3rd RBI of the game as Evan Longoria takes 3rd. So 1st and 3rd, 2 down. Shopping takes the strike.
Supposed to be the powerful Texas Rangers, but Tampa Bay 9 runs on 11 hits, and they've hit 3 home runs.
Powerful Texas Rangers have been held to 2 hits all day. And both of them belonging to Josh Hamilton, who singled in the 1st inning, doubled in the 4th. That has been it. Nobody for the Texas Rangers has visited third base in this game.
Pretty elite list of home run hitters. 3 home runs in a postseason game. The last to do it, Adam Kennedy for the Angels.
The Rays tonight are vying for a shutout. The Rangers were shut out 8 times during the season. Look at the home runs for Shopping, who connected on a 3-run drive in the 3rd inning. And then in the 5th, a 2-run home run. All this off the Rangers' game 1 starter, C.J. Wilson. A 2-2 pitch coming up to Shopping with runners at 1st and 3rd, 2 down. And it's up and away, 93 miles an hour from Mike Gonzalez.
Short postseason series is all about hot hands. And Kelly Shopping certainly earned the opportunity to play tomorrow. Derek Holland, another left-hander, will go to the mound. How about Holland and Shields, the pitching matchup for game 2? They both have 4 shutouts this season.
Holland tied C.J. Wilson with the team lead in wins with 16 as they finally get Shopping to strike out to end the 9th inning. So we head to the home half of the 9th. It's now 9-0 Tampa Bay. where it's been all Tampa Bay in Game 1 of the American League Division Series as the Rays grab a run in the top of the 9th inning and have a 9-0 advantage as we head to the bottom of the 9th here in Texas. Some defensive changes for Tampa Bay as we head to this bottom of the 9th inning. As Reed Brignac has come into the game at shortstop now for the Rays, and Sean Rodriguez moves from short to second base. There is Brignac now at short. Rodriguez, who was at short, goes to second base. As Josh Hamilton leads it off against the new Rays pitcher, who is in the rotation. Wade Davis is on the roster, but it is as a reliever and in the pen for Tampa Bay.
He's making his first professional relief appearance. He's never thrown an inning in pro ball as a reliever coming into this game. There's an opportunity for him to get some work in, and Joe Madden talked about the move to get just a little more depth from the right side in their bullpen.
Hamilton lines this down the right field line, but a foul ball. He's got the only 2 hits that the Texas Rangers have today. Josh Hamilton with a single back in the first inning, then a double in the 4th. That was off Matt Moore. The only 2 hits that the Rays starter gave up in 7 shutout innings. Two from Wade Davis. It's going to foul that off. So Brandon Gomes came in. He pitched the 8th inning, a 1-2-3-8, 2 strikeouts and a ground out. So right now the Rays are trying to hand the Rangers just their 3rd shutout at home of the year.
Derek Conlon will go to the mound tomorrow, and he has really been on a roll. Conlon finished up very strong down the stretch. He went 10-1 over his final 15 starts of the season that began on the 7th of July. And a great matchup, James Shields, his best season ever. Opponents hit just .217 against Shields. He had 225 strikeouts.
In the air to the left as Jennings will move over. And Desmond Jennings puts away out number 1 to the bottom of the 9th. Talking about Derek Holland and the complete games. Holland's ERA was helped out in large part because of his 4 complete game shutouts, which tied him in that category with James Shields for the AL lead, and they're going to go head-to-head tomorrow. It should be terrific.
He shut out Cleveland in June when they were really swinging the bats well. Then he shut out Oakland and Seattle in back-to-back starts. And finally, his final one was at Toronto, a very good hitting ball club. He shut them out on just 4 hits. So he's got explosive stuff. A little inconsistent, but that's to be expected with a young starter. For the season, he went 16-5.
0 for 3 day for Michael Young. He's flied out, lined out, and grounded out. Deals with Wade Davis with 1 out in the 9th. Matt Moore, the rookie, 7 shutout innings, giving up 2 hits, walked 2, struck out 6. Second major league start. This is to center field. B.J. Upton twisting around to make the grab for out number 2. And the Rangers are down to their last out in the 9th.
Every manager in baseball wishes for 21 outs from his starter. You get 21 outs, 7 innings, and then figure out how you can get those last 6 outs. Keeps your bullpen fresh. You get great matchups, and length from your starter is exactly what leads to winning seasons.
Rays pitching have retired the last 11 Rangers in a row. 2 down in the 9th. In the air down the right field line off the bat of Adrian Beltre as it hooks foul and into the seats.
Matt Moore can barely conceal his joy on the bench to believe that he has started the postseason, opening up for the Rays, and he's looking at a W.
Chop foul down the third baseline. We heard from his teammates about that smile, how infectious it is, and we've seen it here as he has been out of this game since the end of the 7th inning, and nothing but smiles since. One-two pitch is popped up. Casey Kochman steps into foul ground, and the Tampa Bay Rays come into Texas and take Game 1 of the American League Division Series, as the momentum continues from the way that they got in with that dramatic 162nd game of the year. They carry it right in here to Texas. And you hear so much about the Rangers offense, but in this game it was all about the Rays offense and what they could do against C.J. Wilson.
Well, and they got a great start, and the tone was set by the youngster Matt Moore. He threw up a 0 early in the ball game, and then the offense took it from there. The Rays scored 3 in the second, 3 in the third, and then it was academic. But the powerful Rangers came into this game. They've won 14 of their last 16 ball games. A red-hot team that won 52 games in this ballpark. They were shut down dramatically by a very effective 22-year-old Matt Moore.
Incredible what he has accomplished here today in front of 50,498 in the ballpark in Arlington. The Tampa Bay Rays have taken a 1-0 advantage with a 9-0 shutout of the Texas Rangers, as the Rangers muster only 2 hits in this game, and it's very surprising from a Texas offense.
Texas has been red hot. They've got balance up and down the order, but today they were overmatched. That's the 12th rookie that has beat Texas this season.
Let's send it down to field level to Jamie Maggio.
All right, Don, thank you. Matt Moore, you were called up, what, less than 3 weeks ago, 7 innings of 2-hit ball tonight in your second major league start.
Yep.
How did you stay cool, calm, and collected?
I mean, I may have looked a little more calm than I was, especially early. In the first inning, I had a little bit of nerves, some adrenaline going. But, these guys made it really easy for me, putting up those numbers. And, looking up there after the fourth, I think it was 8-0. It was just a matter of throwing strikes and getting out of the innings as fast as possible.
3 weeks ago, in your wildest dreams, could you have imagined being here on this stage and playing so well?
You know what? No, not even close. 3 weeks ago I was in the minor leagues, and to be a part of this now and this postseason push, it's it's something I never dreamed was going to happen this year.
What a great way to wrap up the September that you guys have had, and people are talking about team of destiny. Do you think you are a team of destiny?
Well, you know what, the way we got here, we're well on our way to seeing if that's the case or not. The other night that was pretty special getting here, and as long as we can take care of business, then I guess that'll answer it for itself.
Well, congratulations on a great game tonight.
Thank you very much.
All right, back to you, Don.
All right, Jamie, thanks very much. The final score from Arlington, Texas, 9-0. The Tampa Bay Rays down the Rangers. For Buck Martinez, Jamie Maggio, and the rest of the crew, I'm Don Orsillo saying goodbye from Arlington. Following a quick break, we'll send you to Matt Weiner in our Atlanta studio. The Rays have come in and taken Game 1. TBS is your exclusive home for the entire Division Series and the National League Championship Series. In Game 1 from Texas, the Rays, like the Rangers, 9-0.